So hi, everybody, and welcome back. Yay, we're in my kitchen. For those of you who come to my kitchen once a month, we do these shows once a month, different topics, etc., for our Vital Health community. So if you're a member of our Vital Health community, you'll get in. So what I wanted to do today is we've been talking a lot about food, and we haven't really given you any very specifics because I said there's just so much time here, and I wanted to do it in the kitchen. And there's a lot to learn, as you've known, as you've learned a lot already today, but it's like everybody's been saying, it takes time to actually master it and start putting it into practice. So we want to help you start to put it into practice. So I want to give you some foods. When people think about doing a low sugar diet, a low starch diet, a low glycemic diet, a diet to control blood sugar and diabetes, they start to think like, but what about my favorite foods? What about pizza and ice cream and desserts, chocolate and all that? And I want you to know that you can still have those foods. You can still eat those foods. You just have to learn to make them in a different way, or to find things that will help support you in a different way in terms of like quick and easy, right? There are more and more these days products coming out that are not like refined and processed, but that are prepared already. So when I think about pizza, I think about how do I do it in a way that is really good. And I will tell you, I'm not going to be shy about it. I make like the best pizza because people love it, whether they're people who are health foodies, whether they're people who are just standard eaters, because I make it in such a way that it resembles and it tastes very similar to what we're used to. It actually tastes better and it makes you feel better because all the ingredients are good. So as I was trying to decide, because I only have time to make 2 or 3 recipes here, or else we could be here all night, that I would want to entice you with some of the things that you can eat. Now we have in the Sweet Spot Solution, we have a 250-page recipe guide. In addition, we have access to videos and other recipes that we've done. Some of our low glycemic ones that we do in the Healing Kitchen every month, we're going to package and put in there as a special bonus for you guys. And there's been, I think we have 5 on a special page already, and there's been 2 more this year in terms of breads. What was one, and the other one was where we made breakfasts. There might have been a 3rd one. So anyway, you're going to get access to all that. So there's not a shortage of recipes. So I decided to start with pizza, and I'm going to cheat a little bit. I make pizza crusts myself, but today we're going to do it this way because I didn't have an opportunity to make a pizza crust in advance. Now you can make a pizza crust if you have a dehydrator. You can do it. You can also do it in the oven. I generally do mine in the dehydrator. And I love my cauliflower pizza crust. It's got some chia seeds and flax seeds and cauliflower and some spices in there, and it's quite amazing. And that recipe is going to be, you're going to get that recipe when you join the program. But this is something you can buy. And this company, it's called cauliflower. What's the name of the company? It's Cauliflower or something like that. Where does it say? It's C-A-L-I, Cauliflower. And they have, you have to be careful when you buy it though, because they have the high, I don't think we need that. They have the high glycemic one, not the high glycemic. They have the non-dairy ones and they have the dairy. So this is the plant-based ones. They now have 3 flavors of the plant-based ones. One is this one, which is spicy jalapeno. And they have a plain, and then they have an Italian, which has all the Italian seasonings in there. And they are truly yummy. You can make them very quickly, and we pre-made it just to make sure that we didn't have to take extra time. So we're going to take this pizza crust, see it? And we just baked it in the oven. It's probably a little overdone, but it's good to go. It'll be yummy. And we're gonna top it. Now, another option, which I just found, which I think would be really fun to do, is this rockers, how do they call it? Wraps, W-R-A-P. And this one is made with carrots, zucchini, apple, flaxseed, sunflower seeds, coconut, turmeric, spirulina, and black salt. Now, for those of you who are super sensitive, that maybe have a problem with apples, it may not be a problem when mixed with those other ingredients. But again, when you get your test, it's not a lot. It's like 6 grams of that, plus 7 grams of protein, and then some number of grams of fat. How much grams of fat? 15 grams of fat. So it's more of a paleo type of a ratio where it's more fat and then moderate protein and carb. But it's full of good stuff. Now you can make a crust like this, and we give you recipes where we teach you how to do that. But if you don't have the time and you want to have it, I always like to keep some things like this on hand. So if I want to make a quick meal, especially if, the kids are coming over or friends coming over, I can do it. So we're going to start with the pizza crust. Okay. Now here's the thing. If ever you have bread cravings and you have some of these in there, you can actually just take this out. You slice it up, put it in the oven, heat it up, and now you have bread, and you can make a sandwich with it. See? It's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. There's a whole lot you can do with a dehydrator to make those treats. We have a book called Dried and Gone to Heaven, and we have an ebook version of it. And in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw in that ebook to anybody that registers today. It usually sells on the website for like $37. It's an amazing ebook. And it's got 200 some pages of recipes for chips, crackers, crusts, cakes, pies, etc. And it's all how to make them dehydrated. Now you may have to modify some of them a little bit that have a little bit of fruit that is not great for you. So once you start to test, you'll know, but you can always modify the recipes. So I'm going to make you pizza. Is everybody ready for pizza? Scott, if you can look and tell me what they're saying, if they're saying they're ready. Because if you're not ready, I'll just make it for myself. Well, you guys don't get to eat it, but I get to eat it for dinner. So I'm going to make a cheese with it. Usually what I do is I like to put the cheese, which I'm going to make with today cashews and macadamia nuts. We can do it with other nuts. We have plenty of recipes in the guide. I'm going to coat the crust so it doesn't get, when we put like the wetter ingredients on, it doesn't get soggy and go through. So I'm going to make the cheese, and this is a simple recipe that you're going to say, wow, it's so easy. I can do that. Now, if you have an issue with you can't do nuts like that, there are some companies that make, I had that here earlier. Did you see the cheese, that ricotta cheese? Here it is. So this company called Kite Hill makes almond cheeses. There's another company called Tree Line that makes cashews. There's another one called Miyoko that makes cheeses. So you don't have to make your own. I'm going to make my own, but you can get them. This one is more of like a ricotta cheese, so it's a little harder, a little crunchier. This is really good as like a feta cheese substitute. Yum. But that Miyoko has one, and these guys also, Kite Hill has a cream cheese kind of thing, which is creamier, and they have one that's jalapeno that's really good. So you can use that as your cheese. And then some places like I've been to in California, where they have actually, they have local people that make these great cheeses. In fact, even here in Austin, a friend of mine brought over to a little gathering we had the other day, and she brought over a sunflower cheese that was made locally here in Austin. So this is the basic recipe for cheese. I'm going to make, that's actually making too much, but I'll have leftovers. I'm going to make 2 cups. You can do it with one pizza. If all you're making is one pizza, you only need like half a cup of each, probably less. So I'm just going to do 2 cups of the nuts. Scott, can you get me some water in one of those little glass pitchers? I'm going to put in some lemon juice. This is the juice of 2 lemons. I'm going to start with about half of that. So basically the juice of 1 lemon, because I'm going to save the rest of this for another recipe. And we're going to put water, and we're going to put a little bit of salt. Anybody who's salt sensitive, you can put kelp instead. I'm going to keep it simple today. In the program and in the recipes that we do there, I really teach you how to incorporate more sea vegetables and more of the more exotic foods. I'm going to keep it really simple for you today. So I'm going to just put a little pinch of salt, not much. And then I'm going to put, that was like 2 cups of nuts. I'm going to put a cup of water to start. Thank you, Scott. Okay. And you can always make it thinner or thicker depending on your desires. So we're going to go like this. Now, assuming you were able to buy the pizza crust and buy some cheese and buy some tomato sauce. Can you get the tomato sauce out of there? I don't usually use jarred tomato sauce, so I'm going to make my own. But this is, you can get them at Whole Foods. You can get them at natural grocers. There's a lot of places that sell it. Just read the ingredients. Some of them have sugar in them. This does not. And this one has oil, but some of them don't. So lots of things you can do. And we can use that on the thing, or we can make our own. So there's a shortcut version of this. so when you're doing a Vitamix, I don't know if you probably can't see it because he's not. Can you kind of change the angles of the camera so that you can follow me? That'd be great. So people can see what I'm doing. I'm using a Vitamix. You can use a NutriBullet. You can use, you know, a K-Tech, Blendtec. But what I heard was that it sounded like there was still like nubblies happening in there. So you hear that? Hear how I didn't hear that, the nuts, the whole nuts, and those are done. And look at that. Look how beautiful and creamy that is. It's going to go beautifully on our pizza. Isn't that nice? Yeah? So I'm going to put some on the crust. And I'm going to just put a thin coating on the crust. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. And you know, the technology gremlins were not our friends today, were they? So if you missed any parts, no worries. We'll figure out how to get a good recording. I'd like to be able to edit the recording before getting it out to you so that all the stuff were broke down. Now, so you see how nice that is. Now the next piece I like to do is the sauce. So I could use this sauce. And if my son was here to eat it, I would use this sauce because he loves this sauce. I personally don't like jarred sauce. So I'm going to just take a few whole tomatoes. And you can pull back again. I'm going to take some whole tomatoes. And I'm going to slice them in half. I don't have all that many, so I'm not going to make all that much sauce. But I'm just going to show you how quick and easy it is to make a marinara. I'm just going to throw these in the food processor. I like it in the food processor because I like to have a little bit of chunk rather than just throwing it in the blender and it just gets too soupy. I rather have more of a texture to it. And I'm going to put in some basil. If I had fresh, I would use fresh. I'm going to put basil and garlic. But again, I'm showing you how you can do this quick and easy at the end of a long, busy day. And how it doesn't have to be so hard. It's quicker than to do this than to go out and buy fast food. The only thing that's less is if you had a frozen pizza and you pulled it out. But I haven't seen any frozen pizzas that I would eat or recommend. So some garlic. And it depends on your taste. We'll probably put a little pinch of salt in there. And I normally would put, oh, that was too much salt. We're going to put, normally what I would do is I would put in some dried tomatoes. I'd soak them first. Again, that makes more elaborate. You don't have to do this. And again, if you wanted to, you can just buy the sauce. We're going to go a little longer, and then you can see how quick and easy that was to make your own fresh marinara sauce. There we go. Oh, it smells good. I smell the garlic in there. Get me a few spoons, please. And this is going to be a crust that's a pizza that's light on tomatoes just because I'm low on the tomatoes. You don't have to do tomatoes if you're avoiding nightshades, if you don't do well with nightshades, or if you have an allergy to them, or you just don't like them, or they're too acidic for you, or whatever. I like to make basil a pesto sauce. So I'll take some pesto, some pumpkin seeds make a really good pesto, pumpkin seeds with some basil, and maybe a little bit of garlic and all the other stuff. So I'm going to just, can you get a couple of spoons for me, please? Okay, so look at this. I'm just spreading it out. Thank you. Now, it took me an extra 2 minutes, right, to make that versus using the canned stuff. To me, that's worth it. I'm going to spread it here. Okay. So I just appreciate you guys for hanging for all day like this. Hope it was worth your while. When we used to do, and we haven't done it in the last year, we're going to do another virtual one this summer, but we would do 3-day live events. And I really feel like that's the best way to learn a lot because, yeah, you just learn so much that way. Now, there we go. Can you get the olives out? I'm just going to show some options. There's some in the drawer over there. Now, toppings, right? You can do as many different toppings as you want. I usually like to put some toppings on and then put some more cheese on top. One of the ways I like to do it, this is just me, is I like to chop up kale real small, and underneath oh yeah, that's good, some spinach. And underneath, I'll put a layer of the kale, the chopped kale. And that will just give more fortification to it. And for people who are just like, I don't want to eat so much kale. Kale or spinach or arugula, or not arugula, because I don't like to cook arugula. So I'm just going to cut up a few olives. My son loves the olives on the pizza. He loves onions and olives. But he's in Washington, D.C. right now, so he's not going to be here to eat this. I will send him a picture, though, and he'll get jealous. All right, so I'll put a little bit of spinach. And one of the things you can do with the spinach is you can take it. I'm just going to show you in my hand. Usually I put it in a bowl. Do we have an empty bowl? Can you get me a bowl? I'll put a little bit of lemon and a little bit of salt, or a little bit of lemon or salt. And, oh, good. I was going to use that for something else. I'm good. Yes. So you don't even have to do it in a bowl. I'm just doing it in my hands. You put a little bit of salt or lemon, and it softens it up. Yeah, that's good. Just put it down. Now that I'm done. But see, I didn't even need it. And this is a small pizza, so I'm just going to sprinkle it. And you see how different it is once you just marinate it like that in your hand compared to the whole one. It's just a little bit easier to manipulate. Now, this pizza in particular, I'm probably just going to stick in the dehydrator for a couple of hours, but you could stick it in the oven for like 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes. Okay. Or I could just eat it this way. Okay, I'm going to put, I think what I'm going to do is put a little more cheese on. So I've got the cheese here, and I like to just dollop it on. And look how pretty this is already, right? The colors, and you could put sun-dried tomatoes on top. You could put olives, you could put onions, whatever you have. And like Sandy was saying, you just open up, oh no, it was Beatrice. Open up the refrigerator and see what you got and throw it together and see what you can make. So then I'll put the olives on top. That would be pretty if we had sun-dried tomatoes. And all of this stuff is good for you. We could have done kale. We could have done colored greens. There we go. And voila. Scott, will you scooch in on this, please? So they can see it? The camera? I can't lift it at this point. I can lift it if I put I don't have it right here. Isn't that nice? That's pizza. Look how quickly and easily we made it. It's low glycemic. It's got good ingredients in it. It's got vegetables in it. The crust is made of cauliflower. What more can you ask? Fresh tomatoes, olives. If you don't like olives, do something else. The cheese is made non-dairy, so you don't have to worry about getting your sinuses all plugged up. What do you think? So post in the chat and tell me what you think, and Scott will read it back for me. Thank you for Zooming, Scott. This pizza. Who wants to come over for dinner tonight?
Ellen wants us to bring the pizza to the ER tonight.
Oh, he wants to bring it to the ER? Okay. He logged in, but he couldn't get in. If you keep trying, we'll pull you in. Maybe we can get you.
Yummy, looks delicious. Yum.
Come for dinner with Amy Beth some night, and we'll have some together. Yeah. They don't live too far from us. So what do you think? Pretty is, what do people say?
Yummy, delicious, love it. Wish I could have some.
Mm-hmm. You can. So it's easy to buy these.
Looks good.
You can buy them online. I just bought them straight from the company. I actually had a coupon that I could give people, but I don't know where it is. The ingredients in this are fresh cauliflower, sesame, sunflower seed, olive oil, nutritional yeast, psyllium husk, garlic, jalapeno, red chili flakes, and granulated garlic. So there's no oil in here. There's no sugar in here. There's no flour in here. How can it get any better than this, right? They do have, just watch when you're buying them, because I don't like the ones with dairy. They have some mozzarella cheese in one of them. Cool, right? Low carb, no fillers, gluten-free, grain-free, simple, fresh ingredients. So we have vegetables in the crust. We have vegetables on top of it. Awesome. All right, guys. So the next one that I was going to make is a dessert. So I want to make a dessert because in one of the booklets that came as part of this free training series was something called Melt Away Belly Fat Food Guide. And in the Melt Away Belly Fat Food Guide, we had lists of the foods that help to restore the sensitivity of your cells to insulin. Okay, so what we're going to do is 2 of my favorite foods in the world are on that list. And you might not have ever thought of putting them together. Avocado. Who likes avocado? Type it in there. Anybody? Nobody's typing it in? Put it.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me. I want to hear. I want interaction. I can't see it, so it's too far away from me. I'd have to wear my glasses to see it. So avocado. Who else likes avocado? And what else is my other favorite? It's chocolate. Now, who would have thought you could put avocado and chocolate together? Who's done that?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady does it? Good.
Avocado ice cream and chocolate.
Avocado ice cream is good. We're going to just make an avocado mousse.
Also, avocado lovers on the chat.
Yay. So I'm going to put the avocado in, and I'm going to actually do it. You can do it you get it really creamy if you do it in the blender. We can do it that way. Or I'll show you how to do it in a bowl if you're in a hurry. So if there's a night when you don't want to have to wash your blender, you can do it in a bowl. Right. So that one has a little bit of a bad spot in it. I'll just pull that out. You shouldn't eat the brown spots in the avocado. They're oxidized fat, which is damaging to your blood vessels and to your heart, to your cells that are trying to fight off cancer. And you know we all get cancer every day, right? Does anybody know that? It's just how well is your immune system going to fight it off? And we unfortunately didn't have Isabel in. She was going to talk about liver. There's a lot we didn't have. We're going to have to do a follow-up. All right. All right. There we go. Let's see if there's any. This one has even more. I don't know. Maybe I need a fresh avocado. It's taking too long. Maybe I need a fresh avocado. This is taking too long. Yeah, thank you. So I'm losing a lot of this. And we're getting the fresh avocado. See if it's any better. Okay, he's going to cut another one open. We'll see. I'm losing a lot of this one. I don't like to use the brown part. Yeah, this one's all brown at the bottom. Yeah, this one doesn't have very much good stuff in it. Here, give me the other one. See if you can get a. Oh, look at that. Now that's an avocado. That's the avocado I'm looking for. All right. So I'm going to put this in the bowl. Okay. Get this over. Okay. Get my hands all dirty and I'll clean them off.
Towel right there.
Thank you. Love avocado. I sometimes just eat it plain. Let's see if I can find some good stuff in here. Is that not good? Okay, so get rid of it. Check these and see if they are any good. I don't want to mess it up. I'll let him be the sacrificial lamb. That one's okay. See if I think that one might have some goodness in it. That one's okay. All right. Oh yeah, that other one had brown spots all the way to the bottom. All right, so we have enough avocado. I'm going to show you one of my favorite instruments from the kitchen, which is like probably 40 years old. It's an old-fashioned potato masher, and they don't even make them like that anymore. Let's see if this one's any good. So I'm just going to take the masher, and I'm just going to go like this. Now, like I said, the other option is to throw it in your blender. But I want to show you how you can make things really work well for you. So it makes it pretty creamy. And I may put it in the blender after that. And we can do, one of the times I've done it, I've done a little bit of the cashew cream kind of thing in there, but I've also put coconut cream in there. And coconut with the avocado is great. If you don't like avocado or your belly doesn't handle it real well, you can do any kind of creamy liquid. You could make this mousse from here. And I can actually show you a little bit of how you do that too. So I'm going to take the cacao. I'm going to pour some in. You know, it's probably a couple of tablespoons, but you do it to taste. And you just stir it around. Take the masher again. Or, like I said, you can put this whole thing in the blender. In fact, could you get me another empty one of those blender bases? And I'll just put it in there because I think it'll come out creamier. But you'll get to see that you can do it this way.
Blender.
All right. So, you know, it'll take a little while to stir it around like this. But again, if you're out in the woods or you're out somewhere where you can't do it, you can do this with a fork. If you're desperate for that sweet snack at the end of the meal, which, by the way, is abnormal and it's a sign of insulin resistance. So, but over time, as you start to eat better, you're not going to go, I have to have something sweet at the end of the meal. I have to have something sweet at the end of the meal. You're just not going to need to do that. So I'm just going to put this in the blender and show you how nice it is. We may put a little bit of water in just to make it move and smooth. Sometimes I put a little bit of like MCT oil, and MCT is mostly you find them in coconut. It's a particular kind. It's modified, not modified, medium chain triglycerides, and they can actually be helpful for creating ketones. But that's for another day. Okay, so I've got that in there. I'm going to put a little bit of the water to make it flow. And now we're going to talk about sweeteners. What are we going to use for sweeteners? If we're trying to get you off of sugar, and you've heard today that agave and maple syrup and all those things can be not good for your blood sugar, what do you use instead? Someone asked about xylitol. This is actually erythritol. And erythritol is basically a sugar alcohol, just like xylitol. You want to get close?
Can't really see that.
Can't see it. This one is a non-GMO, and there's a brand called Zero. That's an organic one that you can get. You can use that. It looks kind of like sugar. It's not as sweet, and it doesn't have the calories, and it's low glycemic. It doesn't really raise people's blood sugar. It can affect gut. So if you're sensitive to sugar alcohols, don't do it. The other option is stevia, and you can grow your own stevia, or you can get this green leaf stevia. I wouldn't recommend the white stuff because it's been heavily processed. The other one is monk fruit. You heard, I think somebody mentioned monk fruit today. It was Ocean mentioned monk fruit. Lohan is the other name for it. And this is what it looks like. It looks like a brown sugar. Okay. And we could use that. We could use the flavored stevia drops to make this a little sweet. But the other thing you could do in there, if you're, again, check your blood sugar, is you can throw some berries in there, right? And blend it in there and make a berry chocolate mousse. So this is a stevia. They have drops. They have all kinds of flavors. Love this one. It's English toffee. They also have chocolate and vanilla. And then we have this thing. It's another kind of Lohan, but it's really concentrated. Not as wild about doing that. I'd rather use the full one, but in a pinch, it's easy to travel with. Then I also found this, which was just it's a liquid monk fruit drops. And all it is in here is, let's see, it's just monk fruit. That's all it is. And they zero sugar, 350 milligrams, pure monk fruit extract, right? So you can do that if your recipe calls for a liquid sweetener. So for now, I am going to do this with a combination, just to show you that it can be done that way. I'm going to show you a combination of a teaspoon of the erythritol. And if you have people who are sensitive, they don't like the flavor of monk fruit or stevia, the erythritol cuts that. And I'm going to put, with the monk fruit, we don't need that much. We only need maybe 1/4 to 1/8 of a teaspoon. Really, really small amount. Okay? There we go. And now think about this like I'm making this one thing, but thinking about what other kind of recipes do you have that you really enjoy that you can have around. One of the things people ask about is like, what do I do when I get those food cravings? How do I handle that? So I would recommend that you use some of the recipes we have in our book, and you get some of these little silicone kind of molds, and you basically freeze some chocolates. I'll show you how to make a real quick one, or carobs, or coconut, whatever it is that's a sweet little candy treat, and stick them in the freezer. And then when you get that urge, you don't have to stop to make it. I remember making some of this one time, and it was coconut butter, and I did it with ashwagandha, which is a really good adrenal herb, and I added some licorice powder, and it made it sweet. And I blended it up, and I made these little candies. And a couple of friends had come over, and I'm like, okay, let's go for a hike. And they're like, oh, we're tired. We don't want to go for a hike. But come on, let's go for a hike. Yeah. So, okay, let's have candy. So I said, have one of my candies. Oh, and I put spirulina in there. And I said, have one of my candies. Let's just sit around. And they took the candies, and they started eating them. And then within a few minutes, they were like, let's go for that hike. I feel energized. So those were adaptogenic, plus the spirulina, which has got a lot of chlorophyll. And, you turn foods that used to be like the decadent treats, and you turn them into these amazing, nutritious foods. And that's what Ocean and I were talking about, how we don't look at food as just a thing for our entertainment and for our taste buds. But yeah, you want to enjoy, but also you're thinking about what can you put in here. Now I could put green powder in here. I could put a lot of different things, but I'm going to keep it simple for you today. And then you taste it, and you decide what else it needs. Does it need more sweetener? Does it need some vanilla? Does it need some flavoring? Does it need some blueberries? Taste it. You see what it needs, and then you adjust. So pretty simple. It's creamy. It's beautiful. And it doesn't have enough chocolate in there, I don't think, because it's not as dark as I would usually expect it to be. But taste. Probably could use more chocolate, but we taste it. You can see that we're going to have pizza and chocolate mousse tonight for dinner. Yay! Needs a little more sweet, and it needs more chocolatey to it. Anyway, we'll put it aside and we'll work on it later.
Needs a like a sweet drops type of sweetener. There's that
yeah, we can put that in there.
Taste. I don't know. And
so the other thing that people want more of is pasta. And pasta is flour, and it's even if it's a whole grain pasta, it's still going to make your blood sugar go up quickly. So we want you to avoid some of that. So here's what I like. These are called miracle noodles. I even have my 25-year-old son likes these. He makes them and he puts a sauce on it. He says he tolerates them. They don't taste as good as his other pasta, but he tolerates it because once you put the sauce on, it tastes good. So you need to rinse these about 3 times. This is the angel hair miracle noodles. And you can put whatever sauce on you want. So you could put some of the tomato sauce that he does. You can make a pesto for it. You can make a Thai curry sauce. I mean, any number of things. I like to put these in to make a Thai curry and put it in. Quick and easy. Now, let me tell you something about me. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. I don't have a lot of time to spend in the kitchen, but I like to have good food. And yeah, when I do have time, I love to make big elaborate meals and lasagnas and things like that. All low-glycemic within this program. But I don't always have that time. So I'm looking for quick and easy ways to do things. And that's what I teach you in the recipe guide and the menu plans. And you get all of this and you get tons of demos like this to teach you how to do it. I feel like I'm rushing today because we're at the end of the day and you guys have been here for a long time and we had a lot of tech issues and I want to make sure you get this stuff. But I also am aware that I'm probably talking too fast. I would put you could put some nibs in there. Now, the other thing, if you're having that snack attack strategy, everything like John was saying, like Ocean was saying, like we're making changes in ways, and Anna was saying too, we're not always going to be perfect. You may get to that point someday, or maybe not, but like, okay, you have this craving, like if John had known, like I get this craving, what else could I do instead? So if you have a craving for a chocolate bar, you can go and get a Lily's stevia sweetened dairy-free chocolate bar. And it's going to be, it's not an ideal food. You don't want to eat it every day, but it's definitely going to satisfy that craving. There was one other sugar I wanted to show you here. sweetener. Somebody gave me this, but remember we were talking about kombucha squash earlier? This is an extract of kombucha squash. And I don't know how they make it exactly, but it's very white. It looks almost like sugar. And it has a crystalline kind of thing like sugar. Oops, my camera guy got left. Hopefully you can see that. He's not, okay. It's got this, it doesn't have much of an aftertaste. So this is a good option for people who are like, I don't like stevia. I don't like monk fruit. You can use that. I think that's it. I wanted to show you that this is a great treat if you need a treat at the end of the day. In the summertime, it's all nice and creamy. In the wintertime, it gets a little bit more. And we're kind of in between, so it's still a little crunchy because coconut gets hard at a little the lower room temperatures. It's really yummy. And I've done lots of things with this, and we have lots of recipes in the guides for you guys. So I just wanted to say that I think that's all I have to say with the food. Check to see if there's questions or comments that I need to address. Yum. Can't wait to eat the pizza. Anything?
Those are comments. Lynn does a great job of
Say it again. Lynn's been answering them. Thank you, Lynn.
comments versus questions.
Yeah, so let me just say, this day didn't go the way we had planned. We had some tech gremlins get in the way, and we had some folks that couldn't get in when we wanted them to come in and speak. But regardless, you have to always look at what was positive. What was some of the positive things? So I'd love to see some positive comments about what you got out of this, what you're going to take away, and what you're going to do as a result of this. I also want for, if it's okay, if the team has come up with some people that started at the beginning and made it to the end still and have been commenting throughout, and we're going to randomly, or just, you guys randomly pick people and give me their names, and we're going to award prizes. The grand prize is the Keto Mojo, and the others are some consultations, 3 consultations with our coaches. You didn't get to meet all of our coaches because of the tech issues, and we lost them, but you will at some point. We'll get them together, and we'll do another little thing. So what were you going to ask me, Scott?
I'm not sure if Lynn got this question, but Maddie asked, she brought the sweet drops we showed.
Yep.
It has natural flavors, but isn't that dangerous because you don't really know what the ingredient is?
Yes, and you have to ask, and we have asked. And there are some companies that just don't get that the word natural flavors has that, so you have to check with them. And with this, it's herbal extracts, or it's essential oils. So these are not artificial flavors. So don't worry about it. And there's no soy, because a lot of times it's MSG. Yeah. The best option is going to be your powdered green stevia, and you can always put vanilla, you can put essential oils, mint, etc. for flavoring. So we're looking at a good, better, best approach, right? So for me, I'm not into, this is a better approach than buying your pizza, like the cauliflower crust. For me, I'm more, I don't want to do that. I'm going to make my own. Same thing with the cheeses. But it's a good, better, best. Like, allow yourself to move on the journey. Allow yourself to make these changes. And I encourage you to get along. Oh, I can't do this from here. This isn't how I plan to do it.
The pizza. Do you want to dehydrate it?
Yeah, stick it in the dehydrator. Or just stick it here and I'll put it in later, because I don't want to make a mess of it. Just leave it here. We'll put it in later. All right. And just move that up for me. So I just wanted to end with a little summary for you.
While you're doing that, Romana says she's so glad she stayed until the end, and that she signed up for Sweet Spot.
Yay! So we talked a lot about being in your sweet spot, and that sweet spot is that place where you feel your best. You remember when JJ was talking and she said, if I eat 2 apples in the day, yeah, there's a lot of nutrition, but I don't feel good. I feel hungrier. Right? She's not in her sweet spot when she does that. But the funny thing was, I was trying to name this, like, what is that spot? And I was explaining to a friend of mine, I said, I love it. I feel my best when my blood sugar is like somewhere between, 60 and 75. It's like I seem like my brain is on fire. I feel energetic and I don't feel hungry. Surprisingly, right? You'd think I'd feel hungry. So I was like, it's like, that's my sweet spot. Now that's what I'm going to call it. It's the sweet spot. And yeah, it's a common phrase. It's used in golf. It's used in baseball, but it makes sense. And it really fits well with the idea of blood sugar. So the key to living in your sweet spot is balance, right? And it's balanced to, let's see, there we go. It's balanced to these 5 lifestyle areas. And we've talked about them today. We talked about balanced nutrition. I just did a demo. There's so much more to learn. We have a ton of information in there and step-by-steps to take you through making this a natural part of your lifestyle. But also with the nutrition is the nutrition that keeps you in a steady state of blood sugar and that keeps you in that range and doesn't spike it up. Like, I love pineapple, but it spikes my sugar. Now, I've learned since then, I've rebalanced. Still not great on the sleep. I'm working on that one. But I've learned that if I eat a small amount of pineapple with a lot of greens, like a big, romaine lettuce salad or something with pineapple on it, I can do it. So that's what we're going to help you to learn as you go through the program, is to be able to know what kind of foods you need to combine to give you a good effect. We talked about the movement, and I showed you some stuff, and then John piped in with some great ideas of how he's improved and added consistent movement into his life, how he's put, the walking and the going to the beach and like combining these things that are really good for him. You can do it too. Start with a little bit of walking and some 30-second bursts, right? We give you all the information you need with lots of videos and lots of stats. And for those science geeks among you, you can learn all about the curves and the leptin and how it affects all the hormones. Then we have low stress. And Kimberly did a beautiful job of explaining about low stress and about when there's a stressful situation, what do you do? How do you handle it? And she talked about, the inside stress and the outside stress and how there's techniques that we do to shift ourselves to like imagine that we're in this place. And she did a great job of getting me to the beach and she's describing the warm sand and the water and all that. Then we have restful sleep. And we talked a little bit about how there's lots of studies that show that even one poor night of sleep is going to create insulin resistance the next day. So if you're consistently not getting sleep, we have to decide why. Is it by choice because you're not making it to the bedroom in time? Or is it because you're having trouble falling asleep? And how can we support you in finding out why? Is it a blood sugar imbalance? Is it a cortisol spike? Is it some other stress that's playing in your mind, some of that trauma? So it's really important to find that out. And finally, we talked about the timing. We didn't go into this too much, but actually John talked about it a lot when we talked a little bit about intermittent fasting. It was that space, like spread your meals out. JJ talked about it too, like 4, 5, 6 hours between meals. And Beatrice talked about it too. It's amazing benefit. I've had people who have just done that for the first couple of weeks and had tremendous improvements. And the other timing thing is don't eat too close to bedtime, at least 3 hours. And Beatrice was cute when she said, well, you told me not to eat past 6 o'clock. So if it was past 6 o'clock, even if I hadn't eaten and I couldn't find time to eat, I just went to bed hungry. And wow, what does that do to the body? When we're in that fasted state, we actually can heal. We're going to talk a lot about that for those of you in the program. And we're going to add a couple of new videos and new sections on intermittent fasting and ketosis. You saw that when I tested my blood sugar, I was in a mild state. Well, I was in actually a heavy duty, not a heavy duty, but a good solid state of ketosis without even trying. That's just what my natural life lives. And when I was doing a keto challenge back in January, one of our people who'd been in Sweet Spot said to me, I finally got my ketone meter and I tested. She goes, I don't understand it. I didn't even start the challenge and I'm at a 1.1. And just for those of you who don't know, ketones below 0.5, you're not in ketosis. Between 0.5 and 1.5, you're in a mild nutritional ketosis. For 1.5 to 3, you're in a more significant, and then above 3, it's more of a therapeutic ketosis, which is what they do when they're trying to take people who have seizures. If you don't understand the whole ketosis, go back and watch the replays. They're available of the trainings that I did over the last couple of weeks. And then the last timing rule that I have is don't do the thing that they tell you to do that when you're athletic training, which is have Gatorade throughout your workout and eat that goo gum things. You only really need those gels and things like that to refuel when you're doing a marathon, because you generally run out of glycogen at about 18, 19 hours. And that's when you really do need some extra nourishment during the run. But if you're going out to the gym and you're working out on some weights and you're doing some bikes, you don't need to eat those gel things, and you don't need to replenish right away. If you leave 90 minutes or at least an hour after you finish working out before you eat again, you're actually going to optimize growth hormones. So lots more to learn in this. I mean, I'm just touching the surface of it, but I want you to get a sense of it. It's not just about what you eat. So a lot of people say, well, I'm already eating this way. I'm already eating really well. I'm eating a keto, plant-based type of diet. But why am I still this way? How are you in the others? For me, I was great in 4 out of 5, and I was falling flat on my sleep. And it caused me to get into this mild state of insulin resistance. So that's why we created the Sweet Spot Solution Program. And we put together 7 modules that you can look at, you can learn from. Sandy mentioned overwhelm. It doesn't have to be overwhelmed because it's self-paced to go through. And we're available to you to help you every step of the way. And we have journals at the end of each of these modules that you can fill out and get help from one of our coaches to say, I'm struggling with this or that. Plus, you're going to have weekly calls with me. Like, you're going to not be left alone at all in this process. You've got a 30-day stress transformation audio series where you can actually go in and you can sign up for it. And every day for 30 days, you're going to be guided through 5 minutes of how to get into your stress breaks. Reminders. And you can start it over and over and over again forever, actually. A 30-day menu planner. And the menu planner is laid out. We're actually hoping to get some updates done to that soon because I want to make it simplified, because in there is nested some gems. There's something called the grab and go guide where you can just, like, how do you make stuff in advance so that you can just grab and put meals together on the way. I do a lot of that. There's a 250 recipe collection. It is over 200 pages. And they're just recipes similar like this in all different categories. And it's laid out in different categories to help you. Lots of dips, lots of other things like that. We have your metabolic reset, which I said is a 30-day process. If you're not going to go and do a 30-day fast like John did, like I did, this is a process where you're going to minimize the need for your cells to make insulin. Because you're not eating foods that are going to raise your sugar so high that you need a lot of insulin. What that does is allows those receptors for insulin on the cells to heal. So it's amazing stuff. And then we have the fitness guidelines, and we have a video library for fitness. They're not professionally shot. They're just fun and light, and it shows you, oh, I never thought about doing that before. And then we have belly fat busting food preparation videos. Like, in addition to the guide, we have a lot of videos in there. So you can watch us make crackers and cookies and pies and salads and salad dressings and all sorts of amazing food. And you get 1 year access to the whole site. You get 1 year access to the Facebook group. And everything's downloadable, by the way. So maybe you get 1 year of access to it, but you get to download it all, and you can watch it on your iPad, you can watch it on your iPhone, you can watch it long after the program ends. And we invite people back to take it again for like a fraction, a tiny fraction of the price. And a lot of people do that because they just want to keep coming back and seeing what else I'm adding, because every year I'll add new stuff. We have some extra bonuses. They're valued over $500. You get 4 hours of calls with 4 months of calls with me. You get support via the progress journals. I mentioned that. You get the Facebook community, and you get all of the libraries. So all of that stuff is extra cool stuff. And the weekly live calls, that's only during this period. So if you sign up after this, the end of April, you can sign up for this program anytime you want. But the price doubles. It's $9.97 when we normally run it on the website, and you don't get all the live calls. You know, if you come in midway, you can get a few of them, but you're not going to get the really great benefit of that. So I highly encourage you to sign up while you can. The investment, everything in here, it's valued at well over $3,000, $3,500. When we first decided to do this, we looked at pricing it at $19.97 because of how much value it is, how much time it takes, and support for our people to support everybody through this. But I realized that that would leave out a lot of people who really need it. So we dropped it to $9.97. And every day on my website, if you go to the website, that's what it's running for. But right now, during this special period, up until the 22nd of April, it's $497. But here's the thing. When you leave here, you're not gonna, why did I want to sign up for that program? I want you to get it while you're excited about it. And I'm gonna make it really exciting for you and much more worthwhile, because we're gonna add some extra bonuses. So you get to decide, you get to choose right now. And I hope you make a choice that helps you in the direction of getting well. Some of you are going to be able to do it on your own. That's great. Some of you are going to find that I'm just going to put my head in the sand and cross my fingers and hope it gets better. And then a year later, 2 years later, you're still going to summits and you're still reading books and you're still like, what the heck is going on? I still have this brain fog. My belly's getting bigger. Not a good approach. Some of you are going to go, great, I'm just going to read. But there's a lot out there, and you want to make sure you get it customized to you. So you may read some good stuff in one book and another book, and then you try it and it doesn't work. So we are here to support you in helping you to make it so that it's you making the choices. You making the choices that are best for you. And, you know, my husband and I, when we first started this program, he was like, I don't want to poke my finger. I don't want. And now he's like, oh, yeah, I get good information. And he's modified his diet and lost weight, and his cholesterol's come down and all this great stuff. And his father was a diabetic, so he needs to be really careful about this. You can go to functional medicine practitioner. A lot of you mentioned that you do go to functional medicine practitioners, but you know, it's expensive and costly, and you don't get all the stuff. It's great to do, to have that person to be there for you and give you the one-on-one, but the program is a very good adjunct to that as well. And then, of course, like John did, you can go away to an amazing place. He did a 32-day fast, and then he did 10 days of feeding. There's also Tree of Life. There's True North, where he went. There's Hippocrates. There's OHI. And this is a great option, but it's going to cost you to go away for 4 weeks to get this done, 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to cost you upwards of above $10,000. And if you have it, go for it. But then join this program and come back and do it. You know, have the support of the community so that when you get back, you continue it. And there's a lot to learn, and you can try to learn it all on your own, or you can ask for support, get in the community, and get our support. So I'm excited to welcome all of those of you who did join. And if I have a list there, I can look at it. Does anybody put that list into the chat, into the question and answer? Because I'd like to welcome some folks. You know, so there's a lot here, and we're going to guide you every step of the way. And you've heard from several people who've done it before. We have way more. We had at least 3 more that wanted to get in, but somehow technology wasn't letting them. But we have some written testimonials from them we can post. So you can see this is not just something I made up in a vacuum. I've been working on this for a long time. We make it better and better every time. And as Beatrice said, I learn something new from you every single time I hear you. So Jan was one of our sweet spot, one of the earlier sweet spot program when it was called Before Be Gone. She went from being, you know, a little pudgy in her 40s to like super fit and lean in her 50s. Her daughter invited her to sign a contest. We have Alan, who was one of our marketing guys. This is what he was when I met him. And this is where I haven't seen it updated. We have to ask him for a 2019 picture, but he's lost all the extra weight. He got off his thyroid medication and he's feeling great. He said his sex drive's coming back and all that. And he's you know, in his late 50s. And there's Beatrice. There's her before and after. You saw her today. But this is what she was like back in 2011 when she was struggling. And it's only $497 today, and I would really encourage you to take it today because I want to summarize those bonuses that all of our speakers have generously given us. So we have the What's Happening to My Hormones, Anna Quebecca's $47 value, yours free when you join today. We've got Ocean Robbins, The Food Revolution. If you go onto his site, you try to buy that, it's $197, 25 speakers, transcripts, amazing, empowering food information. We've got Claudia's Eat Right for Your Site book that she put together. Amazing information. Lots of great stuff on how to take care of your site with nutrition. We've got In the Kitchen with JJ and her, she also said the assessment that she has for how do you know if you're a fat burner or a sugar burner. Alan, who we didn't get to talk to, if you're still there, Dr. Alan, he's so knowledgeable and so kind and generous. And he put together a metabolism cheat sheet document that's really beautiful. I looked at it last night. It's laid out, it's several pages, and it has all these different lab values and explains it to you. So he and I believe together that people need to understand what's going on in their labs. We really need to understand, because if you put yourself at the mercy of the doctors who are running on conventional lab ranges, then you're just falling into the same space with these people who are normal, right? Normal. Normal isn't normal. No, it's average, but it's not normal, right? Poor John, who, could have been saved long ago from all the torture he had, he didn't know. He wasn't taught. Some of our other clients who first time they tested had a hemoglobin A1C in the 10, which is an average glucose of 240. How much damage was done? And he does have some retinal damage as a result. So that's it. And then I added one last bonus, which is my adrenal jumpstart recipe collection. And you guys, when you're on blood sugar swings all the time, it's putting a lot of strain on the adrenals. Remember when Kimberly talked about the adrenals and how the cortisol gets produced from the stresses, and your body doesn't know the difference between the tiger chasing you or you worrying about your kid, right? And it creates the same headaches in there. So we put together a recipe booklet that's geared towards your adrenals. So when you're finished with the blood sugar program, now we're going to help you to rebuild those adrenals, and you've got that. So I encourage you guys to think about clicking that link at the top. Is that link still at the top, Scott? Yep. It's at the top. Did you put up the offer thing, the picture? You just click on the button and go down to the sweetspotsolution.com/now. And it's going to be a great ride. And we've got some great people here. So I'm going to look to see if there are any critical questions that I missed for 5 minutes, and then we're going to go. And I really appreciate you guys being here. And team, can you give me winner names, please? So we can go ahead and announce some winners. And they'll put them in the chat, or put it in the admin chat, or put it in the team chat, and Scott will tell me. So I have some questions here. Okay. Good. We covered the Anna Quebecer ones. Let's see. Janet said, I've been waiting for you to get on. Yeah, so somebody's asking, Janet's asking about fruit. And I think we covered that pretty well, that for one person, the fruit might be perfect, and for another person, not. You heard from Ocean, who has, he'll eat bananas or whatever, and they're fine. And with JJ, it causes her to be out of balance. So you have to find out for yourself. Fruit is an amazing food. Fruit does not cause disease. Don't ever let anybody make you think that I said that fruit causes disease. But if you already have a blood sugar imbalance, you're on that path, you have to be careful with the fruit. Reggie says, I lose weight. I keep on weighing. You're going to have to break some of our rules, Guy, because those of you who are skinny, you're going to have to be eating more often because the insulin, and check your insulin to see where it's at, but you're going to have to eat more often to keep it on, or eat more at a meal, and do some exercises. Some of these questions we already answered. We talked about the wheat. I need to win the keto mojo to try 31 flavors of everyday foods. Once you go dehydrated in collard wraps and coconut wraps, Nori, it's hard to go back to gluten products. You're totally right, Martha. It's not the same, because it's about eating for energy, not taste or comfort. And it is, right? And that's why I showed you these things. You don't need to. And collard wraps are great. These are way more advanced things than I was willing to get into today. I mean, I could literally do a 3-day class. Histamine can definitely affect blood sugar because it's a stress. We have a lot of processes for reducing sugar cravings. Some of it is related to specific nutrients. I would certainly recommend that you go into that Melt Away Belly Fat booklet and try some of the recipes, or try some of the foods in there, because they're going to help reduce the insulin resistance, make your cells more sensitive, and some of these things that we showed tonight. Yeah, so there's still some imbalance there, Kathy. I would get a meter and start checking. She says that she's eating pretty well, but find out what it is that is causing your sugar to go up, because that's probably what's going on. The use of xylitol and erythritol, I think JJ will concur with me. If you tolerate them, that's fine. She uses some of those in her bars and her bars. And it depends. I think erythritol is going to be much safer than xylitol. Let's see.
Leah wants to know if there are any specific symptoms you can articulate that would indicate possible type 1 as opposed to type 2.
It's testing. Generally speaking, people with type 1 are going to be more on the thin side than on the heavier side. I'll tell you a story about somebody who came to see me, and he had said he had type 2 diabetes. He was on 3 oral medications, including metformin, and his sugars were still in the 200s, and they were going to want to put him on insulin, and he didn't want to go on because he was a pilot. And as a pilot, as soon as you go on insulin, you lose your pilot's license. He was a private pilot. So he said, what can you do to help me? So we went through, and I said, I had a feeling based on some of the things he was telling me that he had a latent adult onset type 1. They call that LADA. So we did some testing. So you can test for antibodies to the pancreas, to the pancreatic cells. You can test for insulin antibodies. You can test something called C-peptide. Alan was going to talk a little bit about that when he came on, which is pancreatic function, and you can test the insulin, and you go together. The other thing I do to test for type 1 versus type 2 is we look at the fasting insulin, and if it's in that ideal range, like 2 to 3, then what I want to do is say, okay, what is happening at 45 minutes after, an hour after you eat? Is your body responding? And I remember having somebody like this. I'm like, I wonder if you just have type 1. Maybe it's a latent adult onset. Let's do that. And she tested her blood, her insulin. It was 2, which is good, but I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting it to be higher because she's been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And then when she tested it at 45 minutes to an hour, it was at 6 or 8. So you wouldn't get that much of a response if it was type 1. And I don't remember if she ever went on to test the antibodies, which I had recommended. It's a little bit more pricey to do that. But those are the kind of things. As far as symptoms, I think the thirst and the urination and the hunger tend to be a little bit different, a little bit more exaggerated. John, 3:15 fasting. Okay. So John's questions, I think we handled them. Intermittent fasting. We didn't talk about bulletproof coffee, but you heard him say that he got off of it. Bulletproof coffee is acidic forming. I recommend definitely don't drink coffee unless you get your genes tested to make sure you don't have those SNPs, because you'll increase your risk of breast cancer by by drinking coffee if you have those SNPs. So I won't touch coffee. Water fasting for 8 days is my common religion in an Indian religion called Jainism. Some even do it for 30 days. Focus on your soul, not your body. Yeah, great. Fasting is very therapeutic, as you see. Not everybody has the conditions under which they can do it, but for people who can, it's an amazing thing. Let's see. What type of schedule? Kathy asked about the schedule that we recommend for testing blood sugar. I have a whole protocol for it, and I have videos, and I have a sheet that talks about it. So you want to be able to capture there's a curve that happens, and that usually peaks at around 45 minutes, but you want to be able to watch that. And for the first few days to a week, you're really going to be testing very often. And we have that exact protocol laid out in the sweet spot. Which kit do I recommend on the keto site? I mean, get the biggest kit you can afford, because the fact is that the bigger kits have just more strips. If you're going to use it as both a glucose and a ketone, get the deluxe kit. Is this program good for vegans? Yes. This program, all the recipes are 100% plant-based, 100%. And I'm one of the strictest plant-based people, vegans I know. So all of them are like that. But all of them say in the menu plan, you can start with this as your base, plant-based. And if you are not vegan, not into plant-based, really feel like you need or want the animal products, organic, pastured, et cetera, small amounts with those high veggie, high water-soluble veggie meals. So yeah, totally perfect for vegans. And that's why Ocean and I work well together, Oh, Rachel wants to know, what qualifications do you have to be able to take the insulin resistance practitioner training? Well, when you take our insulin resistance practitioner training, you are going to get Sweet Spot included. So yay. And if you sign up for Sweet Spot now, then when you decide, if you decide within the next month to go to the insulin resistance, we'll give you a credit for that. We expect that you have some knowledge. You could be a practitioner already, like a health coach, IIN graduate, a doctor, nurse, et cetera. We have lots of those. Like Claudia, vision trainer, right? You have some knowledge of the body and the physiology, or you've been like this self-taught person who's been on this quest, and you want to actually start doing this with people. We do have people who take it as they just want to do it for their family, and they take it and they join for that reason. But, we go a little bit more heavily into the science. If that doesn't scare you, and more power to you, sign up and you reach out to Lynn. She'll give you some information. Claudia said, great advice, Beatrice. Focus on the yummy foods you can eat, not what people are eating around you. That's what I love to do. Here's what I do. I watch people eating, and I actually feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them because they don't know any better, and they're putting this garbage in their body when they could be eating something that's way better. And when I go to parties and I bring foods, and I try to bring kind of conventional foods made healthier to parties, people are like swooning all over, like, I would eat like this every day if I had you to cook for me. The truth of the matter is, you don't need me to make it for you. It's easy enough to make it on your own, and I'm going to give you the tools and the support to do that. Is blood sugar related to sleep apnea? It could be. It could be. I can't say for certain, but candida overgrowth raises your blood sugar. Yeah, and elevated blood sugar increases the candida growth, and increased sugar in the diet increases your sugar, thing. So the ideal A1C, 4.5 to 5, and that was from Mariana. Ideal insulin, 2 to 3, actually, or 2 to 5 is acceptable. So comments from Lee. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday to help us. Hans, I just hugely enjoyed this workshop. I don't know. There was something about Dr. Rita Marie, and I'm apparently not the only one. You simply connect with her like a good friend. You make me cry. That's what I intend. And I'm talking to you like you are my friends, and I care. And I've watched too many people suffer and die as a result of not having this information. And I really do care. Ask anybody who's been in the program. I go over and above to try to help everybody. And our calls are usually 90 minutes plus 90 minutes sometimes. Because if you've got calls, if you've got questions, I'm not going to leave you hanging. So I'm there for you. Sometimes I can't do that longer calls. And that's why I did once a week this time instead of once every other week. Thank you so much, Hans. Amir, always incredibly learning and realigning to become healthier. Lee, thank you for spending your Saturday. Mary Kay, enjoyed learning many new things. Most of all, the emphasis on damage being done when our numbers are slightly elevated. I believe I need guidance to get my head around all this info. I signed up and stuck around, but didn't comment a lot. The guests were fascinating and inspiring. Thank you, Mary Kay. Yay. And Lee, I signed on early. I learned that I can repair some of the damage that may have occurred. That was reassuring. Yeah. But don't let it go any longer. Like some people say, oh, I can repair this damage. I'll just keep doing this until, right? It gets to the point of no return sometimes. So now that you know, you can't not do, right? Now that you know, and that's what some of my motivation comes from. I'm going to expose this stuff because once you know, it's hard to continue. You start to have these things playing in your head like, oh, what am I doing here? And what am I doing there? Not to create paranoia, but just to create concern and caring about your health. So thank you for that. Yay, Mary's going to come on for another year in SS Sweet Spot. Kathy, thanks for everything. It's been great. Jay says, thanks for the info. Appreciate the recap. Taking the take action now tips. Yes, you've got stuff to do. You've got stuff to do. And if it feels right and you feel like you need support, join us. If you feel like I can do this on my own, then don't join us. But I will tell you, for me, I'm an I can do this on my own type of person. And it took me a couple of years to get it right, to just keep trying. I didn't have the kind of information you have. So if you can do it on your own, more power to you. But if you really feel like you're going to thrive in a community where you're getting love and support and information and empowerment and recipes and resources, then I'd say go on over to thesweetspotsolution.com/now and get started. What kinds of nuts make the best cheese? Well, I would say The kinds that are going to appeal to most people are what I made, the cashew mac. It's really creamy. It's light. It's yummy. It's kind of like a cream cheese. But I do them with everything. I mean, I just kept it simple here because I don't care what it looks like. So I will put some Brazil nuts and some hemp seeds in there. It makes it a little brownish. I don't really care. I'm going to eat the pizza anyway and enjoy it and know that I've just treated my body to extra selenium and extra omega-3s. So yay. So we've got some new signups today. We've got Zaina and Beth and Wendy and Mary and Jean and Amy and Maria and Ellen and Rachel, Catherine, Kathleen, Mary Kay, Candace, Cynthia, Cindy. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciate that, and I can't wait to get to know you. Like I've gotten to know Beatrice and Sandy and Marsha and Rhonda, who didn't make it in, she tried, and some of the others that I just gotten to know and love. And the more you take action, the more you commit and get in and just post or ask questions on the calls, either way, I get to know you and then I can help. I mean, I never coached Beatrice. She was never in a private coaching program with us. She just came to all the calls and asked me lots of questions. And yeah, if you find that you don't feel comfortable doing that and you want to get some private coaching, Kimberly, who you met, and Annette, who you briefly met, and Lisa, they are all available to coach you through this process. And that's just an extra upgrade. And we'd be happy to reach out and talk to you about that. So Shelly says, thank you for doing it. This is so informative. I'd love to do the practitioner course one day. Great. Absolutely. Are the natural flavors in the sweet leaf dangerous? No, I don't think they are, because we have contacted them to find out what they are. I can't tell you for sure, but I can't tell you for sure what they are, but I know that they put, extracts, herbal extracts and things like that. I think I got all the questions. Holy cow. Is there anything else in the chat? What about?
Just a lot of thank yous.
A lot of thank yous.
Questions about the 10 versus 14 day.
Oh, don't get me started. So there's the 10-day of the Libre, the ones that's the continuous meter, and then they have the 14. So when they came out to the 14, I was excited, and we got the 14s. And it turns out it's more expensive to do the 14s if you average it out across the day, like a lot more. It was like $35 or $40 for one for the 10-day, and then it was like $75 for the 14. Okay, so that all said, it's like, oh, it's less inconvenient. Let me try it anyway. So first of all, I was kind of annoyed at that. So I still had a 10-day on one arm. I stuck the 14-day on the other, and I just started testing for about 24 hours. And the 14 was all over the map. It was not consistent at all with the 10. And I called the company up, and they said, oh, well, just keep it on longer. Maybe it was a calibration period. And it was like that throughout the whole period. And I always check it against my meter if it seems weird. And I was getting weird numbers. So I don't recommend the 14 until they've done something, until I feel confident that they've perfected it. Think about these continuous meters. You need a prescription in the US to get them. In Canada and Europe, you don't. So it's like, wow, we can go to the store and we can buy Tylenol and Tums and all these things that have some known side effects over the counter, no prescription. But we can't buy a glucose meter without a prescription. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I think part of it is the companies that are making them can charge a lot more if it's only by prescription, because they're going to get less from the insurance company, but they set the price higher. That's my only thought on that. Some people do get them covered by their insurance. And the Medicare will cover it if you're diabetic, on insulin, and uncontrolled. Like, we want to wait till that point? Like, do we really want to wait till that point? They're so empowering. Okay, I think that's it. Yay. Thank you, Christina, for all the great work you did in putting this in. Thank you to my team. I mean, I hope you put a little nice thank yous in the chat for these team this is Saturday, and they spent their Saturday here with you to help you to get this great experience. So I, highly encourage you guys, thank them, and live in a state of appreciation. Appreciation is the thing that's going to get you to where you want to be. When we spend a lot of time with the chip on our shoulder, we spend a lot of time with, just this feeling like, oh, I'm a victim, you're going to get sicker and sicker. But when you can find appreciation in everything you do, everything, the bad stuff and the good stuff, one of our friends, Craig, had his house burned down in the fires a few years ago. And he was chatting, and I said, oh, I know you're near the fires. What happened? He goes, my house burned down. I'm like, oh. He goes, I said, you seem pretty casual about it. He goes, what's there to do? He says, look, there were some things I wanted to redo in it, and now I get the opportunity to redo it. Like, talk about seeing a silver lining, right? When we find things to appreciate. When you're driving in traffic and somebody almost cuts you off, instead of going to work and grumbling about it all day, you go like, wow, I'm so appreciative that I got the ability to hit that brake fast enough to avoid an accident. And I hope he's in a hurry and he's distracted. I hope he doesn't get in another accident, and I hope he gets to wherever he's going. I wish him well. Like, if we could do that with the negative stuff, that's going to change your physiology. It's going to change your blood sugar. It's going to change the negative outcomes. It's going to shrink away your belly fat, and you're going to feel much better. So I'm grateful to have you here. Do we have any winners? Put it in, Lynn, put it in the team chat. Do we have any winners?
Maybe.
Scroll down the doc to the end to the recent comments, okay? Let me see. And the reason they put them in here for me, because I'm not always watching throughout. Oh my, there's a few more down here. Oh no, I got those. Let's see. Nope, I think I got them all. Let me see. Christina, how many winners? 3 winners. 3 winners. Oh, good. I'm all caught up. Good. Thank you, Christina. Thank you for doing that and sorting them the way you did, because it really helps me to see them all together. So, yeah, so you guys are coming up with winners. So hang on there, guys. Hang in there a few more minutes. Got to be here at the end to win. What's that they say? You have to be there to win. And I'm looking forward to eating that pizza. Who wants to join me? Who's in Austin wants to come over and eat pizza? Mary Kay. Okay, so we have 3 winners. Now, Annie sounds like a general name, so do I have a last name? Mary Kay, you're one of our winners. Well, who's the top one? Who's the number 1? Who gets the Keto Mojo? The one that wins the top gets the Keto Mojo and the consultation. So there's 3 winners. 1 gets the consultation and the Keto Mojo. The other 2 just get the consultation, which is awesome. There are your winners. Yay. So Mary Kay, Annie, and AMR. So you guys make sure you get their email addresses and reach out to them. There's an admin. If you go to the chat and you just click, instead of everyone, you click admin, then you can freely put your email address, your phone number, however, and we'll have it in the database. Maybe your address would be good too for the one that gets the Keto Mojo. So email address, name, and phone number, and then address if you're Mary Kay. Oh, is Mary Kay the first one? Yeah, Mary Kay is the top winner. So thank you guys for being so active and being so engaged, and for all you're doing, and for staying from the beginning to the end, even though we went an hour and a half over and we had a lot of technical issues, and the few speakers that we didn't make in, we will try to get in on another time. We'll schedule a separate time to do those, or I'll record them and send them to you. Yay, congratulations, Mary Kay. Can we do something? I don't know if we have. This will be the last thing we do. If you guys are on and you're okay with coming on, just put your hands up and I will pull you in and congratulate you personally, because I love to see you, who you are. So Mary Kay, Annie, and AMR. Amir? Is that how you say it? So thank you. Yay, Amir. Maddie congratulated you. Amir, yay, much love and much thanks. Cool. I hope I get to know you. So yeah, they get a good job of engagement. Yes, super. Thank you, Rita Marie and crew, for an informative. Was that Scott? You, Scott, or somebody else, Scott? Oh, another Scott. Thank you, everybody saying thank you. Sorry, I'm leaning over because my computer's way far away from me and I don't have my glasses on. Awesome. So if you guys want, just put your hand up and we'll see if we can get you in. 2 of you have. We'll see. What you're going to have to do is it's going to come up and you're going to say yes to all these things. Oh, there's Alan. Alan is still there. Are you still there, Alan? Let's see if we can get you in. And I see Ellen, but I don't see, who's Ellen? Annie, there's Annie. Okay, I just brought you guys in. And Lee, there's a whole bunch of you putting your hands up that you want to speak. I don't know if we can bring all of you guys in. I think it's a maximum of 6. Yeah. So it's Annie, it's Mary Kay, Annie, and Amir. Okay, so see what happens. And Ellen and Lee, see what happens. All right. Thank you, guys. So who's in? Who's in? Get in at the end, because now you're going to get all those bonuses. You're going to get Dr. Anna's, you're going to get Ocean's, you're going to get JJ's, you're going to get Dr. Allen's, and you're going to get Claudia's. And all of those things are going to just help you on your journey for whole body health, whole body wellness, not just focusing on one area. The reason that we're focusing on blood sugar is because blood sugar is critical to every function in your body. If you don't have proper blood sugar levels and you're up and down all over, the damage is done all over your body. Remember what we said. Let's see who else is here. Okay. So remember what we said. Remember what we said about the, what did we say? What was I going to say? I'm losing it at the end of the day. I haven't eaten anything all day, except for that taste of chocolate pudding, which is calling my name right now. Oh yeah, so the dangers of insulin, right? If you have high levels of insulin right now and you have insulin resistance, even if you're not diagnosed, it's a condition I call pre-insulin resistance. So it's before you actually are diagnosable medically with insulin resistance. And if you have that and your levels of insulin are high, you're having damage to your blood vessel linings. It stiffens them, makes them brittle. You have damage to your kidneys. Your kidneys are retaining more sodium, which raises your blood pressure. You're going to have elevated triglycerides, elevated sex hormone binding globulin, which will make you have less available sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen. Even though the levels are high, they're bound to protein. So that's not good. Sex drive goes down. You have menstrual issues, menopause issues, erectile dysfunction, and all those kinds of things. Don't wait for those serious problems to happen. And there's a bunch more. Thyroid function is affected, increases the risk of cancer due to inflammation, and so much more. So this high level of insulin, even though your doctor's not detecting it because your fasting glucose is going to be fine, that's something we need to work on. And that's something we can support you and help you with in Sweet Spot. So I don't see anybody. I saw the hands going up, but then nobody's coming on. So Ellen, we've been trying all day. You're still there, eh? In the ER. I guess the ER must be slow. Alan's an ER doc and also an anti-aging doc, and he does it beautifully. By day, you know, he works at the ER, and then he has this amazing functional approach in anti-aging.
Somebody named Zanya, she's in the UK.
Yeah.
Past midnight, they already signed up for Sweet Spot.
Yay, Zanya! Yay! There's Amir. Hey.
Here you go.
There you go.
Excellent.
There you go. So, Higgy, you made a nice comment earlier. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rita Marie. It's been another pleasure. I think I joined your program almost 2 years ago, and wow. I've been kind of suffering and getting inflammation in my esophagus when I eat, and I just tested my blood glucose. I got the package here, the mobile. I got here my strips and all the goodies, but
yes.
I was at 151, so I got to get myself back. This was the old meter you back again.
Oh yeah, that's decent. I mean, it's not great, but it's decent.
Yeah, the One Touch Ultra.
The One Touch Ultra, yeah.
That's like 2 years ago.
Yes, and that's when I did my poking when my fingers were all sore. So you could come back and do the program again with us. And awesome. You'll have you want a consultation. So let them know that you can sign up. I think it's like $99 or something. It's a nominal fee to come back, and then you get all the live calls, because then I can support you through getting this back in balance. And then you'll have one call with one of the coaches, which will be great. And
I can hopefully get rid of my glasses with Claudia.
Oh yes, work with Claudia, join her program and get her. Yes, and you'll have the site. Yes, totally. Yeah. Awesome. I'm very happy that you're joining us again. We'll make sure that you get the email.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rita Marie.
Thank you. All right. Bye, Amir.
Bye-bye.
Or is it Higgy or Amir?
Amir Higgy. My first name is
Amir Higgy.
Yeah, Amir, yeah.
Amir's your first name.
Yep. I was born in Cairo, Egypt.
Cairo, Egypt. Do you speak Arabic?
Yeah, I speak Arabic.
What? Oh, of course. Well, my son is in international relations, and he's taken like 6 or 7 years now of Arabic. So
Wow.
he's going to be taking his Arabic fluency exam soon, and he's going to graduate grad school in Israel. So, you know, he visited Egypt last summer or the summer before. Was it 2 summers ago? Yeah, he visited Egypt 2 summers ago when he was in Jordan. He was doing an Arabic immersion class in Jordan, and then he visited Egypt.
Incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, Scott will remember.
Yeah,
I'll tell him that.
May
I
the
will.
peace be with you. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, may the peace be with you. Great. I love it. That's good to know. I'll say that to him and see if he gets it. I'll probably say it so poorly that he won't understand what I'm saying, but
yeah.
With
Thank
my
you
New
so
York
much,
accent.
Marie. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Amir.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I think that's the end of our day. Thank you so much for hanging out for so long. Really appreciate it. I really do. And I just want to thank all of our guests for, you know, taking time out of their busy days. You know, Ocean's in the middle of launching his summit. JJ was actually hosting a class at her house with a bunch of people. And she said, I'll talk to your people at lunchtime. I mean, just really big hearts and generosity. Anna was often in Atlanta, Miami, doing some interviews, or she was at a conference where she was speaking. So like all these things, Alan from the ER, he tried, he didn't get in, but he's calling from the ER. You know, Claudia, you're the only slouch. No, no, Claudia, you had a busy day this morning, right? You were teaching yoga. Yeah. So everybody had like some reason they could have said no to me. They could have said, no, sorry, I can't do this. And they did, because they really feel like it's an important issue. And I'm so grateful to them. Lynn said, what a wonderful community you've brought to us, Dr. Eden. Thank you. Thank you, Jane. Jane said, congratulations. Let's see. Rewatching, yes, it is long, but you can have it going while you do your housework or cook. Yes. Repetition, repetition, repetition. That's why for the program, we make the videos. You get the video, you get the audio, you get the slides, and you get the transcript. And then on some of them where there's a checklist involved, you're going to get checklists. And then you're also getting, you know, recipes where you're watching, and then you have the recipe and you can download everything. We've been going for a long time. We didn't get that much sleep last night because we were staying up late and making sure everything was set for you guys. So I'd love it if you join us. I'd love to get to know you. We've got plenty of calls together, sweetspotsolution.com/now. I welcome all of you guys who have joined up. I congratulate you guys who have won the prizes. And I was hoping to get to meet each one of you in person here, but we will at some point. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Much love to all of you. Mwah. This is what I don't like about this, because on Zoom I could just open up the lines and we could say goodbye to each other. So thank you so much for your patience, and I wish you all the best of health and lots of love. Bye-bye.